Welcome everybody to our YouTube channel, and in today's video we're going to show you how you change oil on a 2014 Kia Soul. However, this video can be applicable to many cars out there. Only difference might be the size of your drain plug, the size of your oil filter, and the type of oil you pour in your vehicle. So if you know where your drain plug is located, which is going to be underneath your drain pan, and you know the size of your oil filter and where that's located, this video works for you as well. So without further ado, let's get started.
Okay, let's be hungry. Okay, let's be okay, let's be hungry.
Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Before you get started, hit the like button and please subscribe if you like the content.
Alright everybody, so in changing your oil, first thing I recommend is to flush out your engine. This is engine flush. It's recommended mostly if you went over your 3,000 miles, as you know, or you should know, every 3,000 miles or 3 months, whichever comes first, you need to change your oil. But let's say you ran it to 5,000 miles, you on a road trip or something and couldn't change your oil. It's recommended to flush your oil. You want to peel all that foil out. Just, you don't want that foil dropping into your engine. It might just be a minor buildup, or it could be dangerous to even starting some kind of hazard in your engine. So you want to make sure that is completely off. And you just pour this into the engine before you flush the engine out. And you just let it run for about 10 minutes. Alright. So that's what we're doing now. We're just pouring this in there, and we're going to let it run for about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and that should be good. Alright. So you want to close your engine cap and let it run for about 10 minutes. Basic, but it helps preserve your engine. So now let's say the 10 minutes are up. And one thing I like to do in changing oil, I want to take my oil cap off, because when you drain the oil out, and this is just the drain pan, you see the arrow pointing down, but I was saying when you drain the oil out, it creates a suction from this drain plug right here, and if you have your oil cap on, it just becomes harder to like take the oil cap off after that suction has been created when you pop that drain plug right there. So that's the drain plug. I think it's a 17 millimeter. That's my oil filter right there. And it should be fairly easy to take off. The oil filter in most cars is right by the oil drain pan. Not always the case. Alright, but in most vehicles that is the case. So one thing I want to do is I want to loosen up, my oil filter, because same thing, it does that same suction effect and makes it harder to take out if I do the draining of the oil first. So I like to loosen up the oil filter. I don't tighten these things too tight. There are a lot of tools to unloosen, but I don't tighten them up too tight. I hand tighten them, so as you see, that's fairly easy taking off, and let that oil drain. The reason I do this is just it makes it easier to take off prior to draining the oil from the actual oil pan. There's a suction kind of effect that happens, which is not the end all be all, but it's easier to do that. So let it drain out first, as you saw, then you slowly take it out, and then all the oil pours out. Fairly simple. That's a 17 millimeter lefty loosey righty tighty snap, and we're done. That's already free. And now we're just going to drain the oil out. So we drain in the oil. Take your drain plug out. Let it run off into your drain pan. Remember the arrow we showed you? Now that arrow is coming down. So this is hazardous waste. So you want to gather it and dispose of it responsibly. You know, gas stations, mechanical shops. Just you want to dispose of it responsibly. You don't want to be caught pouring this down into the environment. Get a huge fine. So you just want to let that drain out completely, because we just did that flush. You want everything to drain out, and you see how black the oil was, which shows you that we really needed to get it changed. That's the oil filter location. That's the drain plug. Just letting it drain all the way out. Let it drain completely. Normally I don't wait too long, but due to the flush, we just want everything we could get out of the engine completely out. All right. And now you just want to put your drain plug back up. Simple. Let's wipe this down. Put my drain plug back in. You want to turn it as much as you can with your hand, so you know, just to prevent any strip, because as you saw, there's a little leak on the bottom of that. Then you tighten it up with your hand. I don't do too much. You don't want to strip that, because if you strip that, then you got to take that entire oil pan out, which is a complete headache and very costly. So just tighten it with your hand, but not too much. And that's good enough. You just want to make sure it is tight, because you don't want that oil leaking out. This is my new oil filter. I like to just take some oil, old oil, and just rub it on the gasket. This prevents, it just prevents it from melting and getting attached to the top when the car overheats. So it makes it easier to remove in the future. So I just like to rub some oil there, and then we just screw our oil filter back on. Just basic. And get it hand tight, nice and snug. You don't want to do too much, but at the same time you don't want it loose. Wipe down, and believe it or not, the job is almost done. So now this is oil. Just add in some high mileage oil, because this car has over 75,000 miles, and this is 5W20 that this uses. But a trick is, on your oil cap, it will tell you what kind of oil you need to pour in there on most oil caps. So high mileage oil is what I'm using, due to the fact that the car has a lot of mileage. You just want to pour your oil. This should take about 4.5 quarts, but due to the fact that I have a little leak, I'm going to add a little bit more than that. So that's basically changing your oil. Quite frankly, unless you don't have the time and you're super busy, I don't see why you should be paying to get your oil changed. Because, for instance, this is synthetic oil right here, and if you want to get synthetic oil at like a car shop, they're gonna charge you a whole lot. But if you buy it and do it yourself, you don't pay a lot. So you can see right there, that's where your oil level is. Those lines are either liters or quarts. So you want to get it all the way down. This is 5 quarts or so, so right there could be 4.5. But what I'm going to do is get it a little lower than that, just due to the fact that there's a leak in the bottom of that drain plug. So just keep pouring. Try to get it on a level surface. See my oil level. pour a little bit more just to make sure I'm safe. That should be it. Want to wipe your oil. Make sure there's no oil dripping all over your engine. Just some minor smoke, and that's all that would happen. Now you want to, take the excess oil and just wipe down. It kind of gives your engine a little clean look when you take the excess oil and just, kind of wipe it all down. Just a habit. Wipe it all down, and then make sure to put your oil cap back on, because if you start the engine and you don't, oil is going to gush and fly all over the engine. So you fire the car up and let it run for a little bit. Normally I change gears, but changing gears would be recommended if you're doing a transmission drain and fill, because you want the transmission fluid to kind of go into every gear in your transmission. But it's just a habit. Now to check your oil level, you want to wipe the dipstick off completely. Don't even look at it, just wipe it off the first time you take it out, because that first initial reading is going to be definitely wrong. So now you can see two lines right there. That has an F, that's an L on the bottom, low and full. So you can see the L for low and the F, I don't know if you see that, that's full. That's where you want your oil level to be. So you want to put your dipstick all the way down, take it back out, and let's check the oil level. It's hard to see because the oil is very clean now, but it's right there at the F mark. Right there at the F mark, which indicates we're full. I don't know if you can see that. And that's it, y'all. That's how you change oil on a 2014 Kia Soul. But that's also how you change oil in most vehicles. Thanks for watching.
Hello again. Thank you for listening to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to drop the video a like and subscribe to us if you're new. Drop us a comment and let us know what you think.